A girl named Maya ran into the house, breathing hard. Her clothes had blood on them. Her twin sister, Leah, saw her and was shocked. "Maya, what happened?" Leah asked, but Maya was too scared to talk. Her hands were shaking. Leah looked out the window. Police cars were outside. Sirens were loud. A voice said, "Come out now. You have 5 minutes." Leah turned to Maya. "Give me your hoodie. I'll clean the blood." A few minutes later, Maya heard the front door close. She ran to the window and her heart dropped. Leah was walking toward the police, wearing Maya's hoodie with her hands up. "No! Leah, stop!" Maya screamed, crying, but the police took Leah away. A few days later, Maya sat in court crying. She watched her sister get punished for something she didn't do. Maya stood up and shouted, "Please stop! It was me! Leah didn't do it." Suddenly, the police came in with a video. It showed who really did the crime. Maya was innocent. Leah was set free that day. Outside the courtroom, Maya hugged her sister tight. "Why did you do that?" she asked. Leah smiled. "Because I'm your sister," she said, "and I'll always protect you." Ella was 15, and she hated her stepmother. No matter what the woman did, Ella wouldn't budge. She wouldn't eat her food, wouldn't say thank you. And mom? That word was off limits. To Ella, this woman was a stranger who had taken her mother's place. So she built a wall, cold glances, quiet dinners, an invisible war fought with silence. One night, the smell of stew drifted through the hallway. It smelled familiar, too familiar. Ella crept down the stairs, not making a sound, and that's when she saw it. Her stepmom standing in the kitchen, alone. She wasn't just cooking, she was crying. Quiet tears fell into the pot as she paused a video on her phone. It was a home video. Her mother, her real mom, laughing in their old kitchen, cooking the exact same dish. The stepmom was rewinding it, pausing, rewinding again, trying to copy every little detail. And that moment hit Ella like a punch to the chest. All this time, Ella thought she didn't care, but here she was, trying to bring her mother back through every ingredient. Ella stepped into the kitchen, heart racing. She didn't say a word, just picked up a spoon and helped stir the pot. They cooked in silence. But it wasn't cold anymore. It was warm, healing. That night, they ate together, not as enemies, not as strangers. And before going to bed, Ella turned back, looked her in the eye, and whispered one word she had never used before. "Good night, Mom." Sometimes love isn't loud. It doesn't show up in grand speeches or perfect words. Sometimes it's in the quiet tears behind a closed door. Keep trying, failing, trying again. And when we stop looking at someone as who they aren't, we finally see who they truly are. She had the voice of an angel, but gave up the stage so her brother could walk again. She was offered a music contract at 19, sold out shows, TV interviews, a future filled with lights and applause. But the moment her little brother got in that car accident, everything changed. Doctors said he'd never move on his own again. And while others walked away, she stayed. She sang him to sleep, fed him, cleaned him. Years passed, no audience, no spotlight, just one quiet promise. "When you stand again, I'll sing again." And one day, he did. He worked day and night to build a music label just for her. Then on her birthday, he gave her a mic. "Now the world will hear what I've heard every night." Her voice, still magic. The video of her first performance went viral. The same crowd that once forgot her couldn't get enough, but she didn't sing for fame. She sang for the boy who gave her a reason to dream again. She gave up her dream to save his. He built his dream to give hers back. Love like this deserves to be shared. Tag someone who never gave up on you. Would you give up your dream for someone you love? Tell us in the comments. She was only 9, but already knew what overdue bills meant. Every afternoon, she'd set up her little lemonade stand, not to buy toys, but to help her dad keep the lights on. Most people passed by. Some gave her $1, maybe 2. But one man stopped, smiled, and handed her an envelope. "Someone once did this for me," the note read. Inside, $500. Her dad cried for the first time in years. That money didn't solve everything, but it gave them hope. Fast forward 10 years. She's in college, walking past a kid selling lemonade. Same cardboard sign, "Helping my mom pay rent." She drops an envelope on the table. "Someone once did this for me," she writes. Inside, $500. Kindness is a full circle. Be the reason it keeps spinning. Tag someone who's changed your life with a small act of kindness. There was a boy named Liam whose mother worked 2 jobs and rarely came home. His father, a kind man, had been battling cancer for years. Eventually, medical bills piled up and they lost their home. A few months later, his father passed away in hospice care. Liam's mom tried to stay strong, but life got harder and they barely had enough to eat. One afternoon, Liam found an expensive watch hidden in a shoebox in the kitchen cupboard. Thinking it was his father's gift to him, he wore it to school proudly. But when his mom saw it, she slapped it off his wrist in tears and yelled at him. A week later, she was gone, vanished without a word, leaving Liam to grow up in foster care. Years passed. On the day of Liam's college graduation, as he stepped outside in his gown, a frail woman in rags approached him from the crowd. She asked, "Can I hug you, son?" Confused and angry, he pushed her away and told security to remove her. As they dragged her away, she dropped a small envelope on the ground. Inside was a letter that read, "My dearest Liam, I'm so sorry. That watch you wore belonged to the hospital's director. I stole it to pay your father's final bills. I was arrested and served 10 years in prison. I couldn't forgive myself for yelling at you, but I never stopped loving you. I only came today to see how far you've come. Love." Mom. Liam dropped to his knees, tears pouring down his face. He ran to the gate and screamed, "Mom!" Security stopped. Liam reached her, embraced her tightly, and whispered, "Please walk me to the stage." One cold morning, an old man named Elijah saw 3 women standing outside near his garden. He walked over and asked, "Are you tired? Would you like to come inside and rest?" They smiled and asked, "Is your wife at home?" "No," Elijah said. "She went to the market, but she will be back soon." "Then we cannot come in," the women said. Later, Elijah's wife Miriam came home. He told her about the 3 women waiting outside. She quickly went to them and said, "I am home now. Please come inside." But the women said, "We cannot all come in together." "Why not?" Miriam asked. The first woman said, "My name is Peace." The second said, "I am Wisdom." The third said, "And I am Joy." "Go back inside," they said. "Ask your family which one of us you want to invite." Miriam went inside and told her husband and daughter what the women said. Elijah said, "Let's invite Wisdom." Miriam said, "No, let's invite Peace." Then their daughter Ruth said softly, "I think we should invite Joy. If we have joy, everything will feel better." Miriam smiled and went outside. She said, "Joy, please come in." As Joy started walking, the other 2 followed her. Miriam was surprised. "But I only invited Joy. Why are you coming too?" The women smiled and said, "When there is joy, peace, and wisdom always come along." In the heart of the wild, where power ruled and pride was everything, there was once a lion. Not just any lion, the lion, king of the savannah, feared, respected, untouchable. But one evening, he wasn't watching where he stepped. Snap! A thick net slammed shut around him. He growled, thrashed, clawed. But the more he struggled, the tighter the ropes pulled. He was trapped, helpless, humiliated, and worst of all, alone. The night grew cold, and as the moonlight cut through the trees, something small shuffled in the grass. A rat, tiny, fragile, barely noticeable. The lion saw it and roared, "You! Help me, please!" The rat froze. A lion asking him for help? The rat almost ran. But then he saw the lion's eyes. Not fierce, not proud, just tired and scared. So the rat took a breath and started chewing. Bit by bit, rope by rope, he gnawed through the trap. It took time, it took effort, but by sunrise, the lion was free. The lion stood in silence. He looked down at the rat, then bowed his mighty head. I will never forget this. Days later, the lion returned to his kingdom, but word had spread. The king was saved by a rat. They mocked him. Hyenas snickered. Elephants smirked. Even the zebras couldn't hide their grins. One shouted, "How does it feel to owe your life to a creature you'd normally eat for breakfast?" The lion stood still, then stepped forward, his voice calm but thunderous. "You laugh because you only see size, but I have seen kindness where none was expected, and I was saved by the very one you would all step over without a second thought." He looked directly at them. "Remember this, the smallest ones sometimes carry the greatest strength, not in muscle, but in heart." Silence. Even the wind stopped to listen. We often judge others by what they look like, their status, their strength, but life doesn't always work that way, because sometimes the ones we overlook are the ones who save us, because one day they just might be the only one who shows up when you need it most.
There was once a boy who always felt behind in school, behind in life, behind everyone else, until one day he found a watch. Old, dusty, humming. It didn't tell time, it controlled it. With one click, the world froze. Raindrops stopped in midair. The wind held its breath, and for the first time, he felt ahead. At first, he used it for small things, more time for homework, dodging bullies, stealing snacks. But then, he started pausing time to cheat, to win, to make people say what he wanted to hear. And every time he used it, he lost a memory. First, his best friend's birthday, then his mother's voice, eventually, his own name. He had all the time in the world, and no idea who he was. Then one day, he saw a little girl run into the road. A car was coming, fast. He reached for the watch, but stopped. He knew this time he'd lose everything, so instead of freezing time, he ran. No magic, no power, just heart. He saved her, and for the first time, he felt real. That night, he left the watch on a bench, with a note that said, "Real life can't be paused, and that's what makes it matter." He started over. No shortcuts, no rewinds, just presence, purpose, and peace. You can chase control or choose connection, but remember, every shortcut costs something. Don't lose your life trying to skip the parts that make it worth living.